Hey everybody, welcome back, Succelsior TV. This is episode 7. I'm Jeff Gagne, your host. I'm thrilled that you're back. I'm excited for today. One caveat on today, this is the first time you ever need to do it, even though it's early in the show. If you haven't watched episode 6, yesterday's episode, I highly recommend you go and do that. Today's episode will make a whole lot more sense if you go and do that. Yesterday we talked about the one question that is at the heart of our very lives. How do we plan as if we're going to live forever, yet still live as if we're going to die tomorrow? And the way I like to say it, die is such a negative thing, and I prefer to be positive. How do we live as if we're going to have just 24 hours left? And that's what today's episode is all about. Today's episode is going to be the second part of the question, because that's the one that gets people a little bit more excited. Planning as if you're going to live forever, making plans, making sure eventualities are covered. That doesn't get our blood boiling. That doesn't get our heart racing. That doesn't get our toes tapping. But thinking about what you may do if you're going to die tomorrow, thinking about all the exciting things that are in your life or you wish you were in your life, that's what gets us excited. And that's what we're going to go through today. So we're going to get right into it. You see over my shoulder the Dream Day. This is something I've created. It's called the Dream Day exercise, and this is probably the single most valuable exercise that you can go through for your life. You absolutely owe it to yourself after this episode is over, sometime today, to find 5 or 10, preferably 10 to 15 quiet minutes. Sit somewhere with just your iPod, with just Pandora playing, whatever. Just sit somewhere quiet with a notebook, with your iPad, with your phone, take notes, or on your laptop, and just do this exercise. It's called the Dream Day exercise. 2007, a movie came out called The Bucket List. Almost all of us have seen it. Almost every one of us made one of them. Most of us couldn't recite probably a quarter of the things that are actually on that list that we made way back when. And every once in a while, you'll still hear people refer to, "Oh, I checked that off my bucket list." My wife and I, we live close enough to the Waldo Canyon fire in Colorado that we got to run from a wildfire. Yep, checked off the bucket list. Never knew it was on there, but checked off the bucket list. So every once in a while you hear people use that phrase bucket list, and I'll be talking more about it in future episodes. But this Dream Day exercise is different. The bucket list is sort of an esoteric, it's way out there, it covers our whole lives, it's I want to see the 7 wonders of the world. I want to see the 7 natural wonders in America. I want to visit all 50 states. I want to visit every country. And a lot of us put things on that list that we know we're never going to do, but we put it on our list as if it's a thing we need to do before we kick the bucket. The Dream Day exercise is different. It puts things on our list that we absolutely know that we need to get to in our lives. We just aren't always making the time for it. So enough build up. What is the Dream Day exercise? Live as if you have 24 hours left. That's it. That's the key. The second part of our core question, how do we plan as if we're going to live forever, yet live as if we've only got 24 hours left? If you only had 24 hours to live, what would you do with those 24 hours? Down to the minute. What would you do with those 1,440 minutes? That's it. And how long would you do each one of them for? And I'll get into a little bit of that in just a minute. But just to give you some examples, when I think about mine, some of the top ones are always, I would spend time with my family. My wife and daughter are my heart and soul. They are what make me breathe and my heart beat. Plain and simple. I would make love to my wife in that 24 hours. I would tickle my daughter and hear her laugh. Her laugh is the most beautiful sound in the world to me. I would tickle her and make her laugh. I would bring her over to the park across from our house and let her kick me off the end of the slide because she absolutely loves it. I would hold my wife's hand. I would look into her eyes and I would tell her how much I love her. I would go visit every one of my family members. And when I think about that, I'd make love to my wife for an hour, and I would tickle my daughter for a half an hour. We'd go to the park for a half an hour. That's 2 hours out of my 24-hour day. Go to visit my family. My family knows that I love them. I would spend 15 minutes of that 24 hours with each of my family members. I would spend that time. And when I'm talking about how would you do this, I don't want you to think in normal time. I'm a Star Trek fan. I am absolutely a Trekkie. You guys need to think as if you had a transporter and you could get there instantaneously. Time, travel, money, none of it is an option. That is not in this exercise at all. If I want to visit my family in a different state for 15 minutes, I blink my eyes, I go there, I spend 15 minutes. That's what this Dream Day exercise is about. It's not about the realities of life, paying for a plane ticket, getting time off of work. That's not what it's about. So fill up your 24 hours. Write your whole list on a pad. What would your 24 hours be? To give you some more examples of mine, I've been to Italy. I would go to Rome and I would sit outside the Colosseum just looking at the Colosseum drinking an ice-cold Coke in a can. As soon as I was done with that Coke, I would go to the best little Italian restaurant and absolutely stuff myself with the best pasta I had ever eaten. I would follow that up with the best gelato I had ever had, all of which was in Rome. I would do some more traveling. I'd go to some other countries I'd been to. I'd go back to Okinawa and have some cocoa curry, which would only take 15 minutes. Again, sitting outside drinking a Coke, that's another 15 minutes. That's only 2.5 hours gone out of my 24-hour dream day. What would you do with the rest of your time? If you had 24 hours, time, money, and transportation weren't an issue. If you had those 24 hours, what would you do with them? You make that list. And then what we do with that list is we start incorporating those things into our lives. If you really want to travel, if you said, I want to spend an hour of my time in France or backpacking around Europe, that's an hour of this one day that you have left. That's obviously hugely high on your list. I'm assuming that you've covered the family and the other things, and we're not going to get into relevance and importance in this. This is a very short video, and we spend a lot more time when I do this with people, spend a lot more time going through it. But if you spent that much time, then you need to plan a vacation. Let's say you want to backpack through Europe, or if you want to take a 30-day cruise across the Atlantic, whatever it is that you have put on this day. Those are the things that you need to start planning and putting into your life. In 2 years from now, don't take your summer vacation in Oklahoma just because that's what you can afford right now or that's what you think you should do. Don't go visit your third cousins again. You never know how much time you have to live. I'm not saying to ignore your family, ignore distant cousins. But if you truly want these things that are on your dream day list, if you had 1 day left and you would do them, you need to get them into your life. You need to plan them. Save the money for it. Work up the time. Figure out a plan. Call me. Let's figure out. I will help you. Email me at jeffgagne@gmail.com. I will help you get to these things. That's exactly what life should be about, and we need to do more of this. The other part, after you're planning some of these bigger things, you need to be grateful for everything that's on your list that you are already doing. Whether it's every day or every week or every 3 months or once a year you get to see your family. You need to spend some time being grateful, truly grateful in your heart. I am unbelievably grateful that I get to listen to my daughter laugh. And I get to take her to the park, and my family is healthy, and we get to enjoy each other. I am truly grateful in my heart for that. And I think about that. I spend time thinking about that, knowing because they're on my dream day list, they are that important to me. Now I need to work on all of the other things. For me, Succelsior is one of them. I would make a video in that last 24 hours. I told you in yesterday's episode, I would make a video and tell you just how priceless and precious life is, and you need to go live it. Please, please, please do this exercise and then email me, Jeff Gagne, JEFFGONYEA @gmail.com. jeffgagne@gmail.com. Email me your dream day list. I want to read it. I want to help you get to these things. They are absolutely that important. This is Jeff Gagne, Succelsior TV. I'll see you tomorrow. Your dreams are our mission.